All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 15. That is right, week number 15 of your 9489 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and what we are going to do today in this final check-in video, that's right, this is the final check-in video of the class. You have made it to the end of the class. It is a 15-week class, and you just heard me say it is week 15. That means you have made it. So what we are going to do is this state of the course update, and then I'm going to share just a few nuggets with y'all. And I think this is actually the appropriate week to do it. Week 15, Forgotten Heritage, Lost Heritage, that sort of thing. I do think that this is the week for me to say what I am going to say. Unfortunately, again, I am not really able to say what I really want to say because the school is scared, and frankly, I don't blame them, but the school is scared to really let us as professors say that what we want to say. I know I mentioned this in a previous check-in video, but I'm going to say it again. For those of you who are young, and I know a lot of you are young, I'm 42 years old. I turned 42 at the end of April, so getting one up there, not getting any younger, yada, yada, yada. But what I will say is that I do want those of you who are younger to know that it just wasn't always like this, and I hope that it doesn't continue to be like this. When I was in college, when I was in undergrad, at least, that was during the George W. Bush administration. I was in undergrad from 2001 until 2005. So actually I am about to celebrate my 20th anniversary of graduating from undergrad. But having said that, yes, back then the Bush administration, for what it's worth, just they did intimidation tactics on some demographics, specifically on Middle Easterners after 9/11. But there just weren't intimidation tactics coming from the Bush administration onto the press or onto higher education. And we are seeing that the current administration is not above that. The current administration does seem to they do seem to be willing to intimidate professors and teachers within higher education to stop them from saying what needs to be said. And so certainly, even in the classroom, not just in the press, but even in the classroom, and certainly there's some things that I feel need to be said about cultural heritage and what could potentially happen to it if we continue with this administration doing the things that it's doing. But the university does not want me to say this so much. And so I am bound. If I did not have children, I would be a renegade. But I do, in fact, have a child, and because of that, it's not just me who suffers if I do things that I'm not supposed to do. It would be my child as well, so I hope you all do understand that I am biting my tongue for the sake of my daughter, okay? But what I want you all to kind of be aware of, first of all, with the just with the state of the course update, all you all have left now is the the week 15 prompt, which will actually be due. I do want you all to be aware of this. The week 15 prompt is actually due on Friday, not Sunday. It's due on Friday. All right, so make sure you get that up by May 9th, and then your final paper will be due on Sunday at midnight. If you are doing a final paper, for those of you who are doing a heritage project, get that documentation to me to prove that you have done a heritage project, and we will go from there, okay? And I've already put in some grades for some heritage projects for some of you who have already sent me your documentation. If you've done that, then you may have already gotten a grade. There are, I think, 2 of you who did a project but have not gotten a grade, and that's just because I haven't been able to review your proof for your documentation yet. But I'm getting there. I am busy. This is a very busy time for me grading out my 3 classes, so please just bear with me as I'm doing that, okay? But yes, I'm very proud of all of you. I've really enjoyed this class. I've really enjoyed all of you. I've had several of you reach out to me and let me know that you've enjoyed the class. I'm thankful for that. That's the reason I designed this class. This is the one class in CISL that I designed from scratch. There are several classes that I have heavily altered. The intellectual freedom course looks nothing like it did before I took it over, so I heavily altered that to the point where it is pretty much almost a new class. And then I've made a lot of alterations, but not complete alterations to reference academic libraries and business. But this is the class that I really feel is my baby. This is the class that I started from scratch. This is the class that wouldn't exist if it weren't for me. So again, this is my baby. I'm very proud of it. Very happy to teach it, and very happy that I continue to have students sign up for it. So I thank you all for signing up for it. You've been wonderful. Getting to know you all has been wonderful. Getting to see all of your thoughts and that sort of thing has been wonderful as well. Okay. And yeah, so get those final papers to me by Sunday night, unless you did a heritage project. If you did a heritage project, try to get the documentation to me by Sunday night, but get your discussion board prompt contribution up by Friday night. Okay. And then you will be all set. And from there, let's go ahead and talk about what I wanted to talk about as far as soapboxing a little bit. Pause. Okay, so as we talk about lost heritage and forgotten heritage this week, I do think that it actually is an appropriate time to bring up the things that I'm going to bring up here just very quickly. First of all, so I'm going to show you all 3 articles, and I am going to link them. But these 3 articles, I am going to link them in the announcement, but these 3 articles are just the tip of the iceberg, folks. If you Google around, you will find a lot of stories like this, and this is very, very unfortunate in these days and times. So, one thing, here's the first: federal budget cuts threaten collection of Black Voices project at the Clemson Museum. So, here we go. The Clemson Area African American Museum's Oral History Project collection of Black Voices upstate is facing potential delays due to federal budget cuts. The project, which had received a $100,000 grant from IMLS, aims to preserve the stories of African Americans in the upstate region, which really, really needs to be done, folks. We need to preserve our voices, our history, all these things. We need it for the future. Otherwise, we lose knowledge, and history repeats itself, and all the bad things. Budget cuts initiated by President Trump have impacted IMLS services, jeopardizing the project's funding. And despite the setback, the museum is exploring alternative funding sources to ensure the project's completion. Now, when it comes to alternative funding sources, I don't even, I'm sure as you go down, you'll find out what those are. Let me actually read and find out. Let me pause. Okay, so after reading through, it doesn't look like they were, that they had identified actual specific alternative funding sources. But what I'm going to say is when it comes to alternative funding sources, yes, you can get like corporate grants and that sort of thing. But the corporate grants, as you all can imagine, a lot of times there's strings attached to that. And there's also just quite frankly, with corporate grants, they are not doing that out of the goodness of their own little corporate hearts. There are definitely limitations that if this continues under a corporate grant or something like that, there are going to be limitations. There are going to be probably things, histories that the corporations that might donate for this or award a grant for this, they might not want. There may be certain harmful histories, I should say, that the corporate folks will try to cover up because it might upset the profit margin if those stories were widely accessible and that sort of thing. So I really don't think the private sector is really the best place to go when you need this type of project and you aren't able to go to the feds for the funding. So there are going to have to be alternative funding sources that might include donations from individuals and things like that. And you just don't know what's going to happen in that case. But certainly this is a project, one of many projects that's going to be harmed by this attack on IMLS. And we, quite frankly, in my opinion, are not better for it. Another one that I want you all to look at, and this is sort of similar. The Black History Museum in Massachusetts loses $500,000 in funding due to Trump's executive order. So, how that's going to affect the museum, you don't really get a full picture of in this write-up, but as you can imagine, when you lose $500,000, that is going to have a devastating, and I do mean devastating, effect on the services rendered, and there are probably going to be some things that have to be given up given what's happened here. And again, there are going to be stories, if you Google around, there are stories just like this all over the country, and in my opinion, it's an absolute shame. The third thing that I want to show, and again, I'm going to link these articles out, there are people who are trying their best to skirt around this. So Trump wants to erase Black history. These digital archivists are racing to save it. Trump's executive orders are attacking everything from the Smithsonian to Black sports history, but grassroots organizers are launching a resistance. And I actually know Makiba Foster. She is a good friend of mine, actually. I've known her for nearly 20 years now. So she's saying we want to open up a conversation asking what does it look like for a community of Black people to come together and decide what to collect. And she is the co-founder of this web archiving school, which I'm going to have to get some additional information from her about that, and hopefully get that incorporated into the class in future semesters. But that's kind of a new endeavor. So sorry that I wasn't able to present information about that to you all, but I still feel that you all have gotten a lot of information. And there are going to be some radical changes to this class before the next iteration for spring 2026. All right, so just know that when it comes to people attacking the funding, you don't just have to roll over and quit. And so hopefully if you do decide to read this, this will be an optional reading. But if you decide to read it, then hopefully what it's going to do is it's going to get you thinking that there may be other ways when they attack the funding, there may be other ways to preserve this history. And if so, and this heritage, and if so, how can we do that and, you know, just get that brain meat flowing, get those ideas flowing, and figure out some ways to preserve this stuff, because this stuff is very important. All right, and yeah, I think I can leave it right there. There's no need to really drag this last one out. You all have work to do, but again, I would say I have thoroughly enjoyed you all. I always enjoy my cultural heritage classes, and you all have been no exception. I have just had a ball getting to know you all, and this is my favorite class to teach as well, because it is the class where I get to just kind of have warm moments with the students and see them at their, you know, most relaxed and that sort of thing, because the subject matter in this class isn't as stressful as like the subject matter in a lot of other classes. So I really get to enjoy the environment here. I think that we actually do build a community within this class more so than any other class that I teach and that sort of thing. And I just enjoy that process. So thank you for coming along on this process with me. And I do hope that for those of you who are not graduating, I do hope that I see you in other classes. But until then, I am Dr. Jason. You have finished the race. Have a good summer and enjoy yourselves. Get a good rest and get those assignments to me on time. Thank you.